Ah, yes. Here we are once again. Which of course means it's noon on a Wednesday. It is time for the High Noon Hemp Show. You watch us live or video on demand, of course, the Temptations Beach Facebook page, the Jedi Hemp YouTube channel, which I would recommend over the Temptations Beach Facebook page as far as quality of video goes. But it's up to you, whatever you feel like doing. And of course, there's also Twitter at
Whoa.
Temptations. If you don't care about the video quality, you don't want to see us and all of our amazingness and our cool hats and Beach's cool outfit and all the graphics and pictures and stuff. You just want the audio, that's fine as well. You can do that on Podbean, Google Play, or iHeartRadio. Just search the High Noon Hemp Show to get the podcast. As you see there, season 13, episode 2. We're in season the 13th.
Season the 13th, indeed.
This
Welcome.
season, Halloween time. I'm, of course, Stoner Jesus. I do various things on the interwebs, which you can search. He is the man himself, Beach, high above the Temptations in Sharonville, Ohio. The Hemp Quarters.
That's my other mask.
This week in the world of Temptations.
Things are good. I was just like, what is this other thing hanging here? I've got two masks hanging on my speaker here. Welcome, everyone, to season the 13th, episode 2 of the High Noon Hemp Show. It's true, I am Beach. It's true, I am high above the Sharonville location for this episode and every episode. If this background is available, that's where I am. Now, I don't know if have I ever done the show from anywhere else? I don't remember. I don't think so.
I don't believe
Anyway,
so.
yeah. Anyway, good stuff. Good stuff. No, it's it's harvest season. Things are going on there, I suppose. So we're going to see how it all ends up in Ohio this year with harvest and whatnot. I have been going through stuff recently, and I found some old banners, which I thought was cool. So here's a little pic of some. There's a Hempies, and of course Hempies still exists. But then the Lost Harvest, I don't know that Lost Harvest stuff still exists. I do remember Lost Harvest was one of the first companies to do the hemp flying discs, or frisbees as we called them, the soft flying discs back in the day, and they had some nice little bags and things like that. But that's some old banners for sure. And I have multiple of the Hempies banners. We have Hempies banners up in some of the stores. Not a lot of green ones, though. It might be the only green Hempies banner that I actually have out of all my Hempies banners. So that's good stuff. I also made a picture recently, which I think is going to be my wanted poster picture. If anybody wants to make a wanted poster of me, this was actually based. You can tell if you watched the show last week, you'll know that was what I wore for the "What Are You Wearing" Beach segment. And I don't know. I was messing around with a photo app I had forgotten about, and this is what I ended up with. So I figured, wanted $420 reward.
See this man approach with caution.
Or a light. If you have hemp, just come at me. I'll be easy. I'll be easy to capture. Just put a little trap of hemp out. Boom, I'm done.
They'll just invite you to come speak about hemp, and it'll be a sting operation.
That is true. Yeah, that's right. Invite me to just talk about hemp. I will probably say yes, and then show up, and there won't be a free boat.
Walk right into it.
As long as they let me speak first, I'm okay with
there you
go. Either way. All right, now let's jump right into the product spotlight. That we just got in a fresh batch of flour, and so we have some fresh flowers, and we've some re-ups. So we've had the Electra for a while and the Lifter, but we got some fresh on that. Then the Bubba Kush we've added. With the sour Suver Haze. And then I don't know that we've had, I feel like we've had the CBG white in some form or another at some point, but I don't know if it was pre-rolls or what. But I know white is one of the more popular CBG strains right now, or cultivars. But CBG is really starting to make some headlines too, because you can make a high CBG flour. So it's not like some of the other cannabinoids where they have to separate them and then put them back on, so to speak, or use them in a different form. CBG has, I believe, we're finding, and I think we're going to be breeding higher CBG plants as we go. But I think we can boost that naturally instead of, and I don't want to say unnaturally, but you like Delta 8, Delta 10, and all these, you have to extract and then use, because it's not high forms in its natural form like CBD, like THC on that spectrum of the plant. But CBG, I think we can boost by breeding. So, and again, a lot of research is being done on CBG and CBN. CBN is one of the newer ones too that we're finding. CBN, I think they're saying is better, for nighttime anxiety issues. CBGs, I think, better daytime, maybe. So we'll see. As more research is done on that, we'll get it to you. We also got in a fresh batch of Wachita Farms stuff. So we got a fresh batch of their pre-rolls, which come in 2 or 3, 4 different strains as well. And then, of course, to the left there, it's kind of a double whammy, because that's the Buckeye, the local Buckeye Farms.
There we go.
Pre-roll as well. Those are all CBD. Oh, did I lose you? Oh, am I back? Did something happen?
There's a slight glitch. There's a slight one.
Slight glitch, but I didn't disappear, which is good. And then also on the Wachita Farms, which this is like one of our highest selling Wachita Farms products, are these brownies. Again, super great price range. I think there's like 140 milligrams of CBD in each brownie. As it is a full spectrum, there are, trace amounts of other cannabinoids and whatnot in there. But these are super popular in the stores. And so we got a fresh batch of those. So everybody run in, get them. Should be at every location soon, or if not already. This next picture is kind of a 2-for-1 as well, same as I did last week with the Greenco composites, which are the front pre-rolls. So the colors are made by Greenco, and then the back ones, or to the left, I should say, are the Sana packaging. And so I did this last week with Greenco and Sana packaging products because I love hemp composites. I love them so much. I'm going to show you the one from my door, as I like to say on the product spotlight. 4 from the store, 1 from my door. The one from my door are some hemp composites. So we've got my card holder there in the front, which of course has hemp cards in it, and that is a hemp pen. And then of course the pen holder, which sits in front of me now on my desk. Both of these do actually. Has some hemp pens in it as well. So there's actually 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 different hemp products in that picture itself. And until the 60 to 70% of the plastic that we can replace by hemp composites is actually being made, I will talk about hemp composites every week on the High Noon Hemp Show. I should write that down so I don't forget. One way or another, try to key on that as it may, because between the fiber, getting rid of cotton, so to speak, and making everything out of hemp fiber, and getting rid of plastic and making everything out of hemp composites, once again, folks, the planet screams with joy, and we don't get to hear it, but we love it either way. So it's not just how I feel, it's the truth. So get to it. There you have it, folks, on the product spotlight. 4 from the store, 1 from my door. Now,
yes, to a very important segment. And one of the things I mentioned earlier when I mentioned about listening to the podcast as opposed to watching the video show, the podcast is fine, but you don't get the full flavor and the graphics and the pictures and all of it together, the full package, if you will, of the Beachwear segment. I ask Beach, of course, every week, the most important question I ask him throughout the show. And he gives me the very important answer that you all crave and clamor for. I hear you clamoring for it right now. Shut up, Stoner Jesus. Just get to it. Here we are. What are you wearing, Beach?
That's right. Every week, every day, I do this. And on Wednesdays, you get to find out, what are you wearing, Beach? So here it is on my head. Right up there is my grassroots Jumbi. I think it was designed by an artist named Jumbi hat. Um, my Ono T stamped here at Planet Everywhere with hemp equals jobs, which is one of my favorite statements that I stole from the Kentucky government. That that's how they got Kentucky or hemp legalized. Hemp equals jobs, and it's true. I've got a pair of hemp, and it's actually, the label says hemp and it's trademarked. Now, I believe I got these in Amsterdam way back in the day, because I don't know of a company named Hemp that actually makes clothing. These are actually Buttonfly, one of my only pairs of Buttonfly hemp pants that I own, I'm pretty sure. You can see in my pocket there, real close like, my Green Springs Technology pen, and it's the one that I carry. Or if I'm carrying one, I carry there. That's how it goes. Wearing some I Love Bad briefs up there, along with the Satori socks and Adidas. Bringing it home in the What Are You Wearing, Beach part of the show. So there you have it. Now you know.
All right, go get
Brave
dressed.
for you. That's right. Go find that stuff and get dressed. One way or another. Got quite a bit of news going on in the old hemp world, that's for sure. There's no lack of stuff going on. First and foremost, I want to congratulate this young lady right here, Tasha Roundtree. She has accepted a position for the Michigan Hemp Farmers Association. Tasha, and I know Tasha. Tasha's an old schooler out of Dayton, actually. I say old schooler. She's an old schooler of the new school. So she's been, in the hemp cannabis positivity. I feel like we go back at least 5 or 6 years. But I want to say org, and so it's been a while. When she was in high, and she worked hard in Ohio, and then moved to Michigan for their medical program. Went to school. Oh man, I'm going to forget, but she went to one of the grassroots university, I believe it was, if I remember correctly, and now has accepted this position for the Michigan Hemp Farmers Association. So duly, hardly. I'm not using the right words. Duly earned, absolutely earned. It is so awesome that she's still finding her path in cannabis and working with the hemp farmers and whatnot. Hopefully, she came to me with an idea years ago for a hemp food product, and I'm not going to give it away. And hopefully, she'll be working on that and packaging that and putting it in all the grocery stores for people to enjoy soon enough. So again, congratulations, Tasha. You earned it.
Right.
Colorado State University has opened its Pangea Life Sentences Cannabinoid Research Center. This was on a donation of $1.5 million from someone. And they are going to be looking at isolating and looking at all of the cannabinoids, from my understanding. So the biggest financial part of this was the machine, I think, that will separate. I'm sure it's just a centrifuge, so to speak, but we'll be able to separate all those cannabinoids so that they can study each one individually. Which again needs to be done by more than just Colorado State University, but I am glad to see it getting done somewhere especially on the university level, because the students will take to this, and so there is plenty of interest. Hemp equals jobs. Here it is. It's creating a whole division of um, sciences, life sciences, at the Colorado State University. So we'll see what comes out of that with their studying of cannabis and all its cannabinoids and probably terpenes and all the other things that make up this glorious plant. And I think we're finding new ones. I don't every day. Um, on a sad note, a British football coach, now he is appealing, has been sentenced to 25 years for having CBD vape oil in Dubai. Um, Crazy. Now I knew that I mean they're pretty drug free over there in Dubai. I did know that. This being CBD and not having any euphoric value, not having any drug value, um, it's just terrible. I think that again, I think we're going to see more, hopefully, um, world support for this coach, um, because again, this wasn't THC, this was CBD. It's not a drug. I hate to tell you, Dubai, and I know that they are. The last thing you want to do. I would have definitely checked into things before I would have carried any with me.
Yeah.
In Dubai, but once again, this coach is thinking it's legal in Britain, it's legal in most of the world. How can it not be legal here? But he didn't do his, do druthers, or so to say, um, uh, and he got him in 25 years though. I mean, again, that's just absurd. This is, crazy. So hopefully the British government comes to his aid. He is appealing the sentence. Um, but that's just completely ridiculous. And that being said, if you are going to travel to another country with cannabis, I don't care what form,
Yeah.
just know that there are a lot of countries that are just as confused about it as some places here in the United States still. So, although most of the clarity has been cleared up, now we have the Delta 8 weirdness. And so, you still got to, wonder where you are in what state, because I know I think Texas is now one of the states adding itself to the we don't like Delta 8 because people are feeling it line of thinking. And again, when extracted from industrial hemp, it is 100% federally legal. There's no question. I don't care what you say. I don't care who says what. Again, states are making it illegal. That's the problem, because it is legal now. I mean, that kind of backs up my argument of it being federally legal, because I had someone kind of debate me on this because the DEA agent told them that Delta 8's not legal. And I'm sure that if he was talking about Delta 8 extracted from THC, then yes, it's true that the DEA agent wasn't lying, because as we know, the tale of two CBDs from years ago here in Ohio and all over, if it was extracted from industrial hemp, it's 100% federally legal. If it was extracted from THC cannabis, it is 100% not federally legal. It's the same thing with Delta 8. Two tails of Delta 8. And so anyway, you have to be in a state where they've made it illegal for it to actually be illegal in the United States. And apparently Texas is planning on doing that. Best health article: hemp hearts versus hemp seeds. And I have talked about this before. What's the difference? Basically, the difference is when you eat the whole heart or the whole seed, shell and all, you're adding about a gram of fiber per 3 tablespoons on top of the high protein, the omega-6, omega-3 essential fatty acids, 360 milligrams of potassium, 210 milligrams of magnesium, 24 milligrams of iron, 3 milligrams of zinc per 3 tablespoons of hemp hearts. Okay. Now, if you just, I'm sorry, of hemp seeds. Now, if you just do 3 tablespoons of hemp hearts, you get all that minus the fiber. The fiber's in the shell. So if you need fiber in your diet, which is good for cholesterol issues and those type of things, you want to eat the whole seed. If you're just looking to get all those other great benefits, then you can just eat the hemp hearts. But once again, I was just telling someone else, and they continue to tell people all the time how nutritionally, and a lot of people don't know, they have no clue how nutritionally valuable this grain is to the human body. And, once again, it's only because an American food company hasn't yet jumped on board with the grain and has educated people through national TV ads, because they're all still they just don't know. People just don't know. That's what it is. And again, just more proof how healthy this grain is, one way or another. Rick Ross is releasing a line of smokables, getting into the CBD and cannabinoids, because they're going to look into other cannabinoids as well. And the reason is, and I quote, "I truly believe in the health benefits of hemp-derived products," Ross says. "Having had my own health scares and through my healing process, I have decided I would develop a line of smokables to help others with the benefits of hemp cannabinoids." Apparently, he had a seizure that almost killed him. I did not know that. And of course, again, doing any research, I'm sure after that he found CBD as actually one of the only FDA approved medicines for seizures. Looked into it and found out that the benefits, and so good for him. One way or another. I'm glad he survived and is recovering from his health issues, and that because CBD helped him and cannabinoids helped him, he's going to use his wealthiness, so to speak, to help other people. So good job. Another clap. A lot of claps today. This is interesting. It's great. It's interesting. The USDA, National Agricultural Statistics Service, is sending a survey to 566 Illinois hemp farmers, and this is based on acreage and production. Why it's not Kentucky or one of the actual largest growing states, I don't know. Why they picked Illinois, I don't know. So it's going to be some interesting results. I'd like to see the results out of Kentucky, to be honest with you. Acreage and then production of products. That would be very interesting. But anyway, those will be federally accepted surveys, and I don't know if that's good or bad. Honestly, because some states have had luck, some states haven't. I think most people have had luck. So we'll see what happens. What went on in Illinois anyway. This is interesting. It's not necessarily directly hemp related, but I do find it very interesting that R.J. Reynolds has now had an e-cigarette and 2 nicotine cartridges approved by the FDA. Okay. Now, what the FDA concluded, and I think this is the important takeaway from this when it comes to the hemp industry. What the FDA concluded is the benefits of using nicotine through vaping outweigh the harm, and so therefore they are saying it is safe, if not safer, than smoking actual tobacco. Okay, that's an FDA approval right there. So, that being said, we need to again be back to encouraging people to to use their medicine or whatever it may be in vape form. Again, clean products. The only harm that's ever been done with vape products were from black market vape products, not stuff that people were going and buying over the counter. Okay, they thought they were maybe legitimate medical products in their state or whatnot, but again, they were not over the counter vape products. That when people were getting sick, okay, what all came out of that is once again those were just, and I think they were packaging them with packaging that looked like again a legitimate um, THC company or flavor company or whatever it was, that people were using these. So, uh, you know, yes, I do want to have long-term studies on using PG or PV based vape products to find out whether that's okay. And I mean, but obviously the FDA has seen enough research to show that the benefits of using a nicotine based vape product outweigh the harm, um, and are saying it is in fact safer than smoking actual cigarettes. Um, so then that should transfer to anything. Even if you want to go back and argue that flavored vape juice is harmful and the kids shouldn't have it, and we can't ship it through USPS and or UPS and FedEx without some special law, which just happened, by the way, because now the FDA has approved these products, but the federal government just recently said they couldn't be shipped through the mail without whatever. I don't know how it all worked out, but and again, they were describing nicotine delivery devices from products that didn't even have nicotine in them. And now the FDA has approved 2 nicotine delivery devices, which is contrary to this whole PAC Act. I think it was called the PAC Act. There's some stupid thing. So now where do we go with that? The FDA says it's okay for us to use these products, but the government says we can't ship them through the mail. Oh, okay, here we go again in circles, because the left hand doesn't know what the right hand's doing. And again, that PAC Act or whatever the heck that it was, that would just happen with the nicotine delivery systems, whether they had nicotine in them or not, was 100% government scam. And I don't know, I feel like, and again, because we can ship those devices through the USPS, but not through UPS or FedEx for some reason, that's, that 100% scam. And so, I see that hopefully being changed soon, especially if anyone's paying attention to this FDA ruling on this particular e-cigarette and these nicotine cartridges, which once again, nicotine delivery system. It's like the big line in the PACT Act or whatever that thing is called that was recently passed. It was all about nicotine delivery systems, and now we've had a couple approved by the FDA. So that now is going to be interesting to see how that all gets worked out. Anyway, Wisconsin, along with other states, are handing their hemp programs over to the USDA. Wisconsin is doing it because it costs them too much to try to regulate all of the different changes that the USDA makes in the hemp program. And so they're saying, okay, fine. From now on, the farmers in Wisconsin and North Carolina has done this, Hawaii, New Hampshire, and Mississippi have all said, basically, you just got to go directly through the FDA, I guess, to get your hemp crop approved. Or not the FDA, the USDA, to get your hemp crop approved, and then follow their guidelines, and we're not having anything to do with it. Now, I don't know how that's going to work. If they were charging a license fee, is it then because I don't think the federal government actually has a licensing fee. Um, and so does that make it cheaper? Does that make it, just do it under the standards and be done with it, and not have to worry about actual state regulations? I'm not sure, one way or another, if it's good or bad. And so, but the fact that Wisconsin couldn't afford to keep their state hemp program running, um, again, it's something that I just don't understand. If the Department of Agriculture in Wisconsin treated hemp like corn or soy or dairy, um, I don't think that again it wouldn't cost any money, and you wouldn't have to worry about all these licensing fees and all that. You just let the farmer grow the stuff and do their thing and be done with it. And to be honest with you, you can put it on law enforcement for anybody who's growing any 0.4% or higher THC cannabis. And again, I'm sure law enforcement would love to figure out how they can use some tax dollars for, in any state, especially in states where cannabis is legal for THC, whatever reasons. Now all of a sudden law enforcement needs something to do. Well, they like running around checking on stuff. Why can't they run out to the hemp farm and test the plant? They're not going to be in danger. It's a pretty safe job for law enforcement just to run out to the old hemp farm and say, hey, I'm going to clip a little piece of this off and take it to the lab and test it. Don't make me come back. That's job security. I mean, the USDA doesn't have the USDA doesn't have it. Most states, Department of Agriculture, don't have divisions of employees that go out and test crops. That's not done. What other crop has to be? What other crop do they have to pay an employee to go test? I mean, organic soil rating testing. I'm sure they have people in divisions of each state that do stuff like that, but they don't have other employees that are used to going out and clipping off a piece of corn and taking it back to a lab and testing it to see if the corn has too much sugar in it, or whatever. That's not an issue, and it shouldn't be an issue with hemp. And once again, if you can just go down to your local feed store and buy your hemp grain that's known to grow industrial hemp and take it home, no one should buy you. No one should buy you. And if you decide, or remember, if the police want to come and find out where you're going to TC, and again, I equate this to the same way cannabis farmers used to do this in states, is they'd have a little patch of cannabis in the middle of their cornfield or whatever. I mean, that's why flying over in helicopters becomes so prevalent in Kentucky, is because the THC cannabis was grown right in the middle of a tobacco, just little patches of it, grown in little tobacco fields, where mostly corn, because corn is taller. And so it just looks like a patch of weeds in the middle of a cornfield that the farmer just, couldn't tend to. This was semi-common back in the day, to hide your THC cannabis inside your cornfield or whatever. Okay. And so just like in Kentucky, if you want to try to hide your THC cannabis in the middle of your CBD farm or your grain farm or whatever, guess what? It's going to sit out. And so, in states like Kentucky or wherever, if they want to continue to fly over fields looking for illegal cannabis, so to speak, then they can. Law enforcement already does that in some states. You can tell the difference. You can tell the difference. Now, it would be almost impossible, in my opinion, to actually tell the difference between growing THC flower and CBD flower.
Mm.
So, and once again, here we go. If you're in any state, okay, you're in Ohio and you're growing for CBD and you're growing 100 plants, then of course you could throw 5 THC plants in there. Or if you were going to grow, let's say 10 different strands of CBD, then you can easily throw in 10 THC strains and just hope that when they come, or when when they clip that to be tested, that they don't do it. Anybody can do that. Anybody can do that now. So, we don't, all these licensing fees and all this, that more, to me, in my opinion, just encourages people to do shady stuff. Um,
Yeah.
Especially as we're seeing the high growth of CBD flower in the industries. And so, again, if it needs to be a law enforcement issue, then you continue to make it a law enforcement issue. And the Department of Agriculture just need to open it up. And if anybody does anything dishonest, then they're gonna, then they're either going to get caught or they're not, just like now. Or 20 years ago when they were growing in the middle of their cornfield or whatever. I remember as a kid growing up in Kentucky when we grew up in a small farm subdivision. Okay, when the people moved across from us and they lived across from us for years and years and years, they kind of kept to themselves. I don't think they had any kids, so whatever. When they moved out and the next people moved in the spring, guess what popped up out of their garden? Cannabis. And the police came out. The people that bought the house had the police out. And they were like, yeah, and that's what it was. So the people that were living there, right in their front field, with all their, tomatoes and corn and melons and all the other stuff that they were growing, they had maybe an acre of a field, just like we did. We had basically maybe an acre split up between corn and some other big stuff out in the field, and then fruits and vegetables in the front. I mean, they were plain sight with all this for however many years they lived there, and no one knew, no one was paying attention, and we had helicopters flying over our place all the time, because of that. Because of Kentucky was the largest grower of THC cannabis per capita of all states in the United States. They were the largest grower of industrial hemp until it was made illegal in 1937, and now we know they all of a sudden, we made this stuff illegal. Why? Oh, well, maybe we should just grow that. And so they started growing the THC. I don't know if that's how it all worked out, but again, per capita, Kentucky was the largest grower of cannabis for THC, up until, again, it was legalized for medical purposes and whatnot. And again, they still grow, I think, probably quite a bit down there. The game has kind of changed, that's for sure, when it comes to that, but is what it is, that's for sure. Let's see, we got a survey here. Last piece of news, found that 1 out of 5 caregivers provide CBD to treat autistic symptoms. I've talked about this. I've gotten emails from parents, thanking me for carrying CBD. It was one of the only things, once they got the right dosage worked out with their child, changed their lives, changed the child's lives, changed their lives. Just a little bit of the decreased, so it decreased self-mutilation and anger, hyperactivity, sleep problems, anxiety, restlessness, psychomotor agitation, all those things, plus a lot more, which we already know CBD does. We already know CBD is great for all of those things. But 20% of the people that take care of autistic children are using CBD and have found benefits. What else can I say? What else can I say? You know, it's just more proof that yes, it helps so many people with so many things. It's unbelievable. Once again, the FDA needs to just say that it's generally regarded as safe, just to get that off our shelves. No one's going to stop selling or sell any less CBD because the FDA is not jumping on board with this officially to protect, I don't know, their own whatever best interest. But that one hits me right here because it's, I mean, autistic children. I mean, that is, you know, again, my best friend's child is highly autistic. And again, he's been using, you know, for as long as we've probably been selling CBD in gummy forms, he's been giving his child CBD. And again, with parents that are proving that it helps them and turns their lives around just a little bit, is just great. It's just great. I love it. I love it. All right, we'll get on to a couple little bit of events here and get everybody on their way. October 23rd coming up, like 3 days. We got the Hemp Fall Festival in Statesville, North Carolina. Hemp Fall Festival down there in Statesville, North Carolina, if you're around that area. October 26th, this is a local event, the Medical Marijuana Meetup Halloween Party. And the reason that I'm telling you about this, if you don't know, if you're a first-time viewer, I'm invited and I go to the medical meetups when I can. And this is all part of meetup.com. So you go to meetup and because to give knowledge on CBD and hemp, you know, that's what I do. And you know, it's a great crowd that always shows up from every angle of cannabis to begin with. But this is their Halloween party, you know, and of course, themed outfits, cannabis themed outfits, are probably going to win you a prize if you know, or you're better off to either way. You know, there's some pretty easy ones out there from Pothead. Just put a pot on your head. To some more thinkers. I could give you an idea. I had a really, really good one year that I dressed up with, and you know, but I'll just you know, I'll see if anybody comes up with it on their own, because it was a pretty good one. Cannabis / pot related, you know. So anyway, there's plenty of great outfits, and again, you see, you know, I mean, you can go to the costume store and buy yourself a cannabis related costume. I guarantee you that. they are on the shelves, from, you know, the cannabis fairy to you know, hemp man, they probably call it, just with like hemp leaf stuff, which is, you know, that I dress up as my hemp man costume for parades and whatnot. That's kind of custom, but, and so, you know, if you want to go, if you're here local, and again, the medical marijuana meetups are normally the first Tuesday of the month, but this is a special Halloween cannabis themed October 26th from 8 to 10 at Mad Tree. If I was to guess, that's next Tuesday. Mm-hmm. And so Mad Tree cannabis related costumes. Let's see how that goes. The Hemp Maze is still going on in Minnesota, Zimbrota, Minnesota. So if you're in the Minnesota and you want to check out the Hemp Maze, Minnesota, I would Google it and see what their hours are. It's not open all the time, but it is still open. November 2nd, you have the Pennsylvania Hemp Summit in Lancaster at the Lancaster County Convention Center. November 12th, you know, sometimes I give you events that just have great names. This is one, the Sip, Smoke, and Paint CBD and Happy Times Entertainment in Brooklyn, New York. Wish I could remember that part of Beastie Boys where they talk about the store in Brooklyn, New York. Anyway, and then November 13th, you have the Green Balance Hemp Fest in Griffin, Indiana. Griffin, Indiana. So we'll look more into that and give you some more information maybe on the Green Balance Hemp Fest. And I think that's all the events I have. Now, how about this one in November? This still November 20th. You've got an intensive farmer training class. Intensive farmer training class at the Women's Environmental Institute in North Branch, Minnesota. So this is for all my Minnesota people that are going to the hemp maze. November 20th, they're going to do an intensive farmer training class. So it's going to be one day, 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. And I assume they're going to teach you everything that you need to know about growing hemp in Minnesota. And then we're back in Indiana for the Hemp at the Crossroads, December 1st through the 3rd. We've been waiting 2 years for this one. It was canceled last year. I think they canceled it twice last year and then just said, screw it, we're just going to wait a year. This has been on my calendar for literally a year. December 1st through the 3rd at Hemp Crossroads in Plainfield, Indiana. So there you have it, folks. Thanks, everybody, for watching the High Noon Hemp Show. As always, we'll be back next year as season the 13th continues at the High Noon Hemp Show here at Hemptations Beach Facebook page, or possibly you're watching on the YouTube Jedi Hemp channel, maybe even on Twitter. Either way, watching live or watching later, we appreciate it. Thank you very much. And remember, reduce, reuse, recycle. Make everything else out of hemp. Having Hemptations.
See you all next week.